Gen Z. They all had many different cultures across the world, and we all know about Gen Z. But here is where Gen Z is breaking news. The Nepal Crisis, where Gen Z made a revolt and overthrew the government. Yes, because just imagine this. The Nepal social media ban. Nepal government collapses. Yes, you might say, why? How? What? I don't get it. Well, let me explain it for you, folks. It's not about social media. They're protesting for corruption. Let's go back in time to understand this. You see, it all began. We need to understand Nepal in the first place. Nepal it has great history and culture, but not a great place to live in. The poverty lines are over through the roof because 1 in 4 people in Nepal are below the poverty line, and the infrastructure, all those things, the government's not really caring about that much. The government isn't really caring about much in that. So, you see, when Gen Z is scrolling through their TikTok or the social media platforms, they have seen something repetitively coming. The children of the politicians and all those political parties are living the high life, while the Nepalese normal people can't even afford a hamburger or a place to live in and can't even get a job because of how hard it is to get a job in Nepal. Those people are having a yacht while drinking some wine that costs $1 billion in the river of France next to the Eiffel Tower and a great sunset view. Yes, I wonder if they liked it. I'm sarcastically speaking. Of course they hated it. And they began checking what the price for all that stuff was. And they began seeing it was through the roof. They can't, and they were like, if these people can afford that luxury handbag, can't they afford to give us some food maybe? So when people began posting about this in social media, it boomed. And the government didn't like that many people hated them right now, because then how are they gonna win elections? So they had one solution. And that solution was ban social media. Out of all the solutions they had to their disposal, they banned social media. And you see, when they ban social media, it's not only normal social media, they're also banning every kind of social media, discussing social media. And you see, this is where it gets interesting. Because of how hard it is to get a job in Nepal, most people are traveling across an overseas country and transferring the money to Nepal, to their families back in Nepal, and that's how 25% of people in Nepal get food to live from. And with no more social media, they can't discuss their money things anymore. They can't even talk anymore. They can't even get that money anymore. And 25% of Nepal people starve. And the people didn't like that. So they began rioting. They began breaking into the homes of those rich politicians and then began filming what was inside. And it was lavish. And they began getting real mad. They even went to the parliament and burned it down. You can see 3 politicians running away on a helicopter hanging from a rope. Yeah. As the politicians all ran away, the Prime Minister of Nepal resigned, and that made a power vacuum. And the Nepalese people decided, wait a minute, we need a new leader. Because this wasn't for social media. This was for the corruption in that government. That is what they were protesting for. And they decided to do an election on Discord. Yes, they did an election on Discord just after Discord made some news that now you can host 25 million people. Most people are thinking, why would you need that? But But now Nepal needs that. And they had a new prime minister elected through Discord. But because, now you see, here's the problem. Nepal's Discord thing had, well, you see, lots of free speech. Anyone could talk. That's why some foreign people were scamming in it and literally opening up on Discord and yelling into the microphone and just leaving. Yeah, so very bad stuff were happening, but they still went through with it because they wanted free speech. But they had to make a choice. Would they listen to these people ramble, or would they deny free speech? But after all of that hard choices and thinking about how to deal with that whole Discord server thing, Nepal finally got their prime minister. And it was not somebody that most people would think would become the prime minister of Nepal. And it was, forgive me if I do not pronounce this properly, Susli Karaki. I am very sorry if I did not pronounce that properly. Now you see, Karaki, if I pronounce that properly, basically was an old court person. Yes, a person of law. And they thought this was a good idea. I mean, he's a law person. But he was also a retired and an anti-corruption person. So it seemed good for them. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how the Nepalese crisis was going on, folks. Bye. See you soon. The end.